Hey everybody, welcome back to the Author on Wheels podcast. We're officially back for season 3, and we have a few updates for you before we sit down with our guest. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and get ready for the season 3 premiere of the Author on Wheels podcast. Originally from the panhandle of Florida, Matthew J. Stott has had a love for writing fiction for as long as he can remember, so naturally, he aspired to be an author. He now travels and lives all over the world with his wife, twin son and daughter, and his sweet pug Lily. As an avid fan of works such as Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel, and Game of Thrones, Matthew's passion for writing is telling fantastical stories with intriguing characters, compelling action, and vast amounts of magic. When not indulging in his writing, Matthew can be found reading, playing video games, exploring with friends, or relaxing at home, watching his favorite TV shows with his family. Matthew?
Hey.
All right, we got you, buddy. All right, let me turn you down a little bit because you just destroyed my eardrums.
Oh, my bad.
When it beeped in. Okay, basically, like I said the other day, what I'm going to do is I've already got a pre-recorded intro, yada, yada, yada. That's going to play, and then I've got an ad that's going to pull through Anchor. I'm going to play that, and then we'll act like we're going right into the interview. So I'll just do a short little introduction, and then we'll go on to basically I'm going to give you the floor, let you just talk about your book and the launch party that you got coming up, and then yeah.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right. So I'm going to make a mental note to record or to cut off the last 55, let's say the first minute of the recording, and we're going to wait.
Okay.
Okay. Matthew J. Stott, soon to be author of The Portal to Aardon, is with us today. Matthew, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm actually really, really, really good. I'm so glad to get to talk to you, man. What, it's been like 10 years?
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I in a million years I never expected to look on Facebook and be like, "Oh, there's my childhood best friend who's an author now." What?
Right. Yeah.
Dang it! It's you, Darius Thompson, and me. Like
Yeah, it's a crazy small world out here.
I mean, in small town Nav, yeah, that's kind of different. But you're living all the way in Illinois, it seems like, right?
Right. Yeah. I've been traveling around with the Air Force. So yeah, currently in Illinois right now.
Oh my goodness! Whoa. Okay. Okay. Too many people in the military on my end.
Yeah.
All right. So, tell me a little bit about the novel that you wrote. Tell us a little bit about, give us a backstory, paint us a picture.
Sure. Yeah. So, The Portal to Aardon. It's a young adult fantasy novel that I've been working on for the better half of maybe 6 to 7 years, kind of on and off. I had the idea, kind of the concept was kind of in my head in high school, but I didn't really start writing it till I got in college, probably around like 2015 or so, 2016. And that's when I actually started like writing it. Like I'd done all the kind of like plotting and figured out like how I wanted to start and end. And so yeah, in college is when that began. I started just kind of knocking it out chapter by chapter. Kind of took some time off here and there for a little while, just between being busy with all my academics and then joining the Air Force and doing different like traveling around and different trainings and things like that just kept me busy with life. I kind of took breaks here and there, and then finally when it's kind of a making the most of a bad situation when COVID hit in 2020, and everyone was kind of locked down, working from home. I had a lot more downtime than I usually had, so that's when I kind of decided like, hey, I want to get this thing published once and for all. I've been working on it for long enough now. So I kind of buckled down and used the extra time I had to power through, finish writing my book, finish editing it. I had some friends and family kind of read through it, give me some feedback. I hired an editor too to actually give me some more kind of feedback, some more in-depth feedback. And then I started, querying it off, which is just basically the process of, it's like a sales pitch to agents and publishers, just trying to throw your story out there, convince them why they should, publish your book. And I did that for a little while throughout 2021. And then finally, at the end of last year, that's when I finally, got word from my current publisher that they're interested in it. And we had a phone call, you know, did talked about everything, got on the same wavelength, signed the contract, and then lo and behold, in less than 2 weeks now, 11 days, my book is going to be coming out finally. So super excited.
See that that's incredible. That's incredible. The culmination of 6 years of working, blood, sweat, and tears pouring into this project for the culmination of it to be less than 2 weeks away. That's incredible. That's kind of like the experience I had when I released A Fight to Survive back in 2022, or
Right.
in back in May actually. I released the book, and I'd started working on it probably around late 2017, early 2018, doing exactly what you did, but I didn't realize that I could just query it out and, do all that. I went somewhat the traditional route. I, looked up publishers. They told me, "Oh yeah, $5,000, 6,000, 10,000." I'm living on Social Security here, for crying out loud.
Right, right.
I'm living on an income here. I don't have $10,000 to just blow. You
Right,
know.
right. And in the publishing world, just for some nuggets of wisdom for anyone who's interested, what you were encountering, those are actually called vanity publishers or vanity presses. And so there are a lot of those out there that exist that you can just pay them and they'll publish whatever the heck you send them. So um, they're kind of looked at in a negative way in the publishing community, because they kind of prey on authors, and they'll take your money, publish your book, but they won't actually like help you, promote it, advertise, anything like that. And you're basically on your own anyway. So um, it's always better to definitely, like, a good rule of thumb is any legitimate press or publisher that you're trying to get the attention of for your book, they're never gonna ask for money or charge you anything to pitch your book to them.
That's exactly what I have encountered. And when I first started, I contacted a very well known Christian publisher, and this was before I knew anything was going on. They wanted $4,000 to publish, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's a red flag.
goodbye.
Never pay a publisher to get your book out.
No,
At that point, you're better off like what you did, self-publishing at that point.
exactly. And I'm glad I went with Lulu because I get all the bells and whistles I want and even more, it seems like.
Right.
So I
That's
think we both got the better deal here with the way we went and published.
definitely.
But honestly, tell us a little bit about the writing process. What is your thought process when you're writing?
So I self-identify, like in the publishing community, in the publishing world, or writing world, I guess you could say. You can normally break everyone up into kind of two groups. There's plotters, which are the people that actually like spend a lot of time like writing out like each and every scene that they want to have in their book, like making little note cards, things like that. Like they do the skeleton of the entire book before they actually ever start putting, words to paper.
Right.
That's usually one side of the writing community, and then you have the other that are known as pantsers, which is like writing by the seat of your pants.
Mm-hmm.
And those are people that are more kind of like, they have a rough idea of the book, but they kind of just write and make it up as they go, more or less. Some people fall in between those two groups, but those are kind of the two main groups. And I consider myself more of a pantser. So like I get a concept, like I get my A and my Z, like how I want the story to start and how I want it to end. And then I kind of just like, as I'm writing, I just kind of let the ideas kind of flow through. Sometimes that leads to me writing scenes or chapters that are just like complete garbage. And I'm just like, oh, that went nowhere. I got to delete, uh,
Right.
start over fresh again. And then sometimes it just works out like kind of, um, kind of it's more about the for me it's more about the journey than the destination. So I kind of enjoy as I write, kind of having the story and the characters kind of tell me like where they want to go, and then I kind of just steer it back on course if things get out of hand.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm just taking some notes of what you're saying,
Yeah.
and it makes sense, honestly. Now, going back to the discussion you had about the plotter and the pantser, what would you say if the writer is somewhat the middle, like combining both? What would you
Right.
say about them?
The word that I believe they're called is literally just combining those words, and you're a planter. So you're a plotter, you're a pantser, or you're a planter, kind of. So yeah, most people I would say probably are probably more in that planter route where they do a little bit of outlining, and then while they're writing what they planned ahead, they might hit a point where they're like, actually, I kind of want to do things a little bit different, and they might steer off course a little bit. I've tried actually sitting down and being like, all right, chapter 1, this is what I want to happen. Chapter 2, this is what I want to happen, and I end up just like losing motivation and kind of boring myself in the outlining process. So I more like to just get like, all right, I know how I want this book to kick off, and then I kind of just dive in, and I kind of see where things go from there.
I absolutely, I appreciate you saying that. Most of the people that I know that have published are literally in a way a pantser or a planter in this case. I don't know if I've met any plotters. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
in the the culmination of my career of writing, I've kind of tried different things like you've said, and I think I've found a way to combine everything into being that planter in a way, but also being the creative thinker that I am and the unique mindset that I have. Basically,
Right.
I'll sit there in the middle, or I'll sit here at the computer, and I'll look at the screen, and I'll just have docs opened up, and I'll just sit there and be like, okay, come to me. I'll have notes in
Right.
front of me. I'll have the computer open, and I'll be like, okay, what the heck was I about to write? I
Right.
look at my notes, and all the notes just look foreign. Have you ever had those moments where your notes for your idea just look foreign, like they're written in friggin' gibberish?
Yeah, definitely. Like you get
It's
to that point where you really intend for it to go a certain way, and then once you actually start writing, you're like, actually, the way things are kind of going, like I think I can do something slightly different, and yeah, and then just those notes that you took ahead of time are just kind of scrapped at that point.
exactly. It's like riding by the seat of your pants, exactly like we're talking about, and it's almost like you're taking a backseat approach to what could be something what you think would be worse or better to how your mind is reading one thing, your heart is saying one thing, your hand is writing another thing,
Right.
and it's
Right.
combine all those three for us, and it's like, okay, this is not what I thought, this is not what I wrote, this is darn sure not what I imagined.
Right.
Have you ever had
Exactly.
those moments where you
Uh,
imagine you're writing something and it's like you don't it doesn't turn out, and it's like, this isn't what I wrote, this is 10 times worse or 10 times better?
oh yeah, 100%. I've had so many scenes that I've written out, and I've just been like, where is this even going? Like there was a plot, and the plot was happening, and then at some point it kind of went off on a tangent, and now like the characters are just like hanging out, just like talking about like random things, and it's just like, all right, we need to we need to actually focus on the plot, and make sure, like, my rule of thumb for writing is like every scene that's happening should do something to further the plot. So whether it's developing a character or a relationship, or just moving the plot along, like something should be happening. Like characters shouldn't just be sitting in a room just like eating and being like, hey, what's up, how was your day? Like,
Exactly.
so sometimes, yeah, the scenes definitely end up kind of being a little bit random like that, and I have to dial back and be like, all right, I need to rework the scene or delete it entirely to actually write something that contributes to the plot in some way.
That's perfect because I'm writing my second book right now, and it's a lead off of my autobiography, A Fight to Survive. And in this book, I'm kind of in the realm of, okay, we're navigating from the autobiographical world to the let's sit down and be like who's that 60 Minutes host? Oh man, what is his name? I can't think. The 60 Minutes character or the host. It's almost
Yeah,
like Tom Brokaw, I think. No, it can't be Tom Brokaw. I don't remember. But the 60 Minutes guy, it's almost like you're going
yeah,
from autobiographical to interview, and you're like, you hear that all through the book.
right, right.
And it's like, is this my niche or is this something that I'm not going to enjoy? And it's absolutely something I enjoy, you
De-
know?
Definitely.
But
Yeah, it's
honestly, go
and
ahead.
your books, as far as I'm aware, they're like you said, they're autobiographies for the most part. You're writing about your life.
Yes.
So yeah, so in a way, I know I'm talking like fantasy over here. So we're kind of in slightly different genres and everything, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, some of those rules still apply. Like even though you're writing about your own life, you don't want to like be focusing too long on like uh a very like minute kind of detail of your life. Like, you know, you want to focus on those very like important aspects and like the kind of emotional beats of your life, because that's what readers want to read about, is they want to get to like the heart of your story, you know.
Exactly. So, transitioning from the story to the event you have coming up, tell us what is planned for the event.
So funny enough, I was actually starting to plan things out this morning for that. The idea I have right now is on the night of September 13th, so that's a Tuesday night around 6 Central Time. I was trying to aim for a good time where people would be off work and, you know, would kind of be hanging out at their house so they could tune in. I'm hoping to just pop online. I'm gonna set up a Facebook Live event and probably share that ahead of time so people can. I think you can click something to it'll notify you when the live's starting.
Yes.
But I'm planning to set that up and pop on around 6. I don't know how long it's gonna last. It's really I'm gauging all of this off of how much interaction I have. So if there's a lot of people in there and we're talking and having a good time, maybe it'll last a few hours. If not, it'll probably be like an hour tops. But I really just want to go on there, and I should have. I'm waiting on my physical copies of my book to arrive, but I should have them by that day. So I just want to kind of be able to hold my book and show it off and talk about it a little bit. Maybe go through the synopsis a little bit, maybe answer some questions if anyone has questions, that sort of thing. Um, and then by the end of it, I do want to do like a giveaway of some sort to give away a copy of my book. I'll sign it and everything, and then ship it to someone. So that's kind of my rough idea right now. We'll see how it plays out depending on how many people tune in.
Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. In the years that I've known Matthew J. Stott, this gentleman here literally has a story to tell. We all have a story to tell. And it's up to us as individuals to find what that story is. I didn't wake up, at the age of 4 and say, I think I'm going to be an author one day. No, it took several bus rides of journeys or several journeys to get to where I am today as an author on wheels. And as I always say, your story is unique to you. It's your fingerprint basically. So let me ask you this. Are you more about the journey or more about the destination when it comes to where you want to be in life? And that's why I wrote that down. So I'm just going to say this. Matthew, this book, I can't wait to read it. I honestly, I wish I could order a copy of it right now because the way that it's picturing to me and the way that you're telling it and the way that you've sat here and said how you've written it is like, okay, take me on a journey. Calgon, take me away.
Yes, yes.
And this autobiographical fantasy that you told me about, I kind of pictured ours together in a way, but this fantasy that you have is like something I've never imagined a writer could do. It's like opening the door to, you know, it's almost, it's not like opening Pandora's box in a way. It's like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, you have these ideas and you culminate them for so long, and it's like a bubbling cauldron of ideas that just go ready, and here
Yeah,
it is with a book. And in
right.
11 days, that journey will be a fruition. It'll come to fruition for you. And I'm honestly really excited because you are literally like someone that I wish I could have been 10 years ago. You know, I
Thank-
started writing mine in 2017, and ever since then, it's been like, yep, okay, 5 years of hard work has come to literally this. And
right.
we all have those moments where we're like scared out of our minds that people aren't going to like what we write, you know?
Oh yeah,
That's another
every day.
real quick. Let's get on to that. Have you ever, like, in this journey, have you ever been like, had those moments of, oh God, no one's going to like my stuff. No one's going to like it. No one's going to like it, you know?
Yeah, I think every writer has that moment where they're you kind of have that imposter syndrome of, hey, I've spent a lot of time working on this, this book. I've poured kind of my heart and personal experiences and everything into it. It's a I like to talk about how it's a very vulnerable experience, kind of putting your art out there for people to judge. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
essentially all we're doing is we made something and we're handing it to the world and we're like, hey, tell me what you think. And naturally, not everyone is gonna like everything that you put out there. So even if you have an amazing book by definition of, like, it's grammatically correct, the spelling's correct, it's a cohesive story. Even if you do everything right as a writer, people can still look at it and be like, I don't like that. And you're gonna get the 1-star reviews and the negative comments and things like that. I mean, there are tons of amazing books out there, like all the Harry Potter books, Great Gatsby, kind of all the classics literature stuff out there, all the Shakespeare, all those works of art that are like highly esteemed, that are kind of world renowned. There are still people out there that will say that it's bad writing, that they don't like it, they didn't relate to the characters, that sort of thing. So it's something you have to accept when you're writing, that hey, even if my book's amazing, or I think it's amazing and people tell me it's amazing, I'm still every now and then gonna have that one person that's like, I didn't connect to it, and that's okay. It doesn't mean your writing's bad or that you're not a good writer. It's just kind of, this is a subjective field, and people have the right to be like, I don't like your book.
Exactly. And let those negative reviews roll off your back like water.
Right.
Imagine you're a turtle and letting that water roll off your shell. That's what you do with the negative reviews. Because in my few months of being an author, I've had that problem. I've had those problems, and I just let them fuel my fire to become better.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way to look at it. Is Yeah, definitely don't let yourself get bogged down when you get those negative reviews. Just kind of use it as motivation to be like, all right, I'm going to make my next book even better. Maybe I'll win that person over.
Exactly, exactly. Wow. I honestly think in the short time that we've been talking that we've gotten a lot out there, and I honestly am ready to hype up your release day. Your release day, September 13th, is going to be the day that you are going to shine to the world and say, here we go. The portal to Ardon is here.
I sure hope
Ladies,
so. I'm excited.
exactly.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you again. How are you telling your story? I tell my story on wheels. What about you? I'd like to thank our guest, Matthew J. Stott, for joining us on the Author on Wheels podcast. Season 3 opening episode. Matthew, thank you for joining us today, buddy. We really appreciate you coming in and giving us a little bit of a insight into what you've been doing since high school, and honestly, since we never talk anymore. It's like, okay, small town world.
Right,
But
definitely. Thanks for having me on.
you're very welcome. Guys, we'll see you on the next episode, Season 3, Episode 2. We'll see you soon. See you later, Matt.
All right, have a good one.
All right. To know what the Author on Wheels is doing, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can visit the website at www.theauthoronwheels.com. That's www.theauthoronwheels.com.